Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX has an ability, Underworld Door, which allows you to attach a psychic energy from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon and then draw 2 cards. This ability is very synergetic with its attack, Max Geist, which does 10 damage plus 30 more damage for each energy attached to all your Pokemon. But what if I told you there was a way to get your VMAX Pokemon out turn 1 without having to evolve into them from the basic V? Well, there is always a way with Radiant Eternatus with its Climatic Gate ability, allowing you to put 2 VMAX Pokemon from your deck onto your bench and then end your turn. This puts you far ahead in the game, as your opponent wouldn't have a chance to set up if you go first, and they would already be staring at 2 VMAX Pokemon ready to go. So with these VMAXs in play, we can power up many different attackers we have in the deck other than Shadow Rider, obviously. So we play Zacian V, which has an attack that does more damage for each energy attached to this Pokemon. The new Lillie's Clefairy EX from Journey Together makes an inclusion here, which does more damage for each bench Pokemon in play. That includes yours and your opponent's, which is kind of insane. Not to mention that it also has the ability which gives your opponent's Dragon Pokemon ×2 weakness to Psychic Pokemon, which is really good. Lunala Prism Star, which can be a good one prize attacker, which does more damage for each Psychic energy attached to all your Pokemon in play, but it also has a very good recovery attack, where for each of your opponent's Pokemon in play, you get to attach a Psychic energy from your discard pile to your Pokemon in any way you like. So if our opponent has 6 Pokemon in play, we get to attach 6 Psychic energy from our discard pile to our Pokemon in any way we like, which is kind of insane. It can be more if they're playing the likes of Area Zero Underdepths as well, which is kind of insane. Finally, what I believe to be the ultimate secret source attacker in this deck is Mewtwo V Union, which has 2 main attacks. The first, Cyplosion, which for free Psychic Energy you get to put 16 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way you like, and the other, Final Burn, which does a straight 300 damage for 4 energy. Not to mention its Super Regeneration attack, which heals 200 damage from this Pokemon, which is really insane. We can get all these V-Union pieces into the discard pile with Brilliant Blender A-Spec, and if we prize a V-Union piece, we can go grab it with the Gladion, which is kind of insane. Other support Pokemon in the deck include Tapu Lele-GX for supporter search, so we can get like Guzma, Research, Mallow, Iono, Acerola, Gladion straight out the deck, which is insane. But the main trainers to talk about in the deck are Fog Crystal and Mysterious Treasure, being able to search out any of our Pokemon in the deck and get energies into our hand. Our stadium of choice is Altar of the Moon, which allows all of our Pokemon that have a Psychic Energy attached to them have 2 less retreat cost. So for most of our Pokemon in the deck, it does kind of mean that we get free retreat, which is kind of insane. Mallow can help us draw into cards that we need by searching our deck for 2 cards and then put those 2 cards on top of our deck in any order, which is really insane. Acerola is our main way of healing damage off Calyrex, Shadow Rider Calyrex, just by scooping up all the cards attached to it into our hand, so we can potentially put it straight back down into play if our board state allows us to do so. But yeah, enough of me talking. You can find a deck list down in the description as always, but let's go get into some games. Alright, looks like we're playing against Serena EX maybe. Yeah, seems like this could be a potentially tough matchup, but we'll see what we can do with it. We can get just the Radiant Eternatus surely, because then we can just put 2 VMAXs down straight from our deck, which is insane, because Mysterious Treasure is broken and it can search out Psychic and Dragon Pokemon, which is absolutely crazy, and we just end our turn and they're already staring us down with 2 VMAXs on the board, and you know, potentially next turn we could get 3 into play if we evolve that Shadow Rider Calyrex V next turn. Yeah, the reason why I'm a bit worried about Serena EX is because of its Icicle Soul attack paired with the Panic Mask tool. Means that the Icicle Soul attack does puts damage counters on one of our Pokemon until it has 30 HP remaining, and then the tool, the Panic Mask, means that it prevents all damage done by Pokemon that have 40 or less HP remaining or something, and then they can just like pair that with the Hisuian Braviary, which puts 3 damage counters on all of our Pokemon, which, you know, pretty much ends the game, to be honest. Anyway, we can see what we can do. They're going to Arven for a Nest Ball and a Panic Mask. There's the one I'm talking about. They won't be able to evolve yet, so that's kind of good. Yeah, I'm not too sure what they can do. They got the barrel as well. I wouldn't be surprised if they are playing the Braviary. It would make sense. There's the Hisuian Sneasel. Why are they playing that? Why are they playing that? Get the extra poison damage for KO maybe. It would make sense, I guess, but we top deck another Mysterious Treasure. We can get a third VMAX into play this turn. We can Tapu Lele as well for a supporter. Probably a research might do, so we can just get a bunch of energy into play if we get any off the research. We have the Altar of the Moon as well, so we can get free retreat on that Calyrex V if we attach an energy to it, which is completely fine. Yeah, I've just realised we don't get free retreat. We have to attach the energy first. Anyway, we can get rid of the Lillie's Clefairy. We won't really need that in this turn. Our opponent isn't playing any Dragon Pokemon, so we won't be able to use that for weakness. Yeah, Underworld Door. We get to accelerate energy to one of our Pokemon and then draw a couple cards. It's quite an insane ability. Just a super turbo engine once it gets going. We can thin out a Calyrex V, I think. And we can just research away for a fresh 7. There's 3 psychic energy, that's pretty good. We can Underworld Door a couple more times as well. Yeah, so we can attach an energy to the active as well to get free retreat in a minute, and then just probably go for an attack on the Bounce Suite in the active after you retreat and get the 8 KO first prize. Not too much of a problem. That's one potential Serena EX we've dealt with. I'm a bit worried about the one on the bench, but I'm sure we can move around it somehow. There's a Gladion. I did see we did actually prize a Mewtwo reunion piece, so that is actually quite handy. Didn't realise we actually prized the Gladion as well. That means we can get the reunion piece into our hand and then discard it with a Mysterious Treasure or something. And then we can potentially get the reunion into play this turn, or next turn, sorry. They're going to be barrel, so they've already got more than 5 cards in the hand, so they can't use that ability right now. They rare candy straight into the Serena EX. This is what I'm talking about. Icicle Soul is very annoying, but I think as long as the Altar of the Moon stays in play, we do have an out to beating this, because we do have free retreat currently. Now there's the Panic Mask, so I do think they are going to go for an Icicle Soul play on the active Shadow Rider. Would make sense. So yes, it seems interesting. They bench another Bounce Suite as well. They path the peak as well. That kind of sucks, because that means we don't have any busies, but we do have 2 Altar of the Moon in our hand, so I don't think that should be much of a problem yet. I think we only do play 3 Stadium in the deck, so hopefully they don't get rid of these 2 stadiums we have in our hand. Anyway, we'll just play it down and get through the process. We're doing 0 damage because of Icicle Soul. doing that 290 damage is kind of crazy, kind of stupid to be honest. We can Fog Crystal for another energy. There's a Zacian V in the deck as well. Anyway, we can just Underworld Door a couple more times. We can power up the other Shadow Rider. There's a Brilliant Blender as well. We can thin out the rest of the Mewtwo Reunion pieces, and probably some other cards as well that we don't need. I'm just thinking maybe a Quick Ball. We've got all the Pokemon we need in play pretty much, so I think we can get rid of a Quick Ball, maybe a Research as well, because we've got one in hand and we've got a massive hand already, so I'm not sure we'll be needing to discard all those cards for Fresh 7 right now. Anyway, we can just do that. We still have access to a Underworld Door still. We can get the last Reunion piece out of the prizes, which is kind of insane, and get rid of it with Mysterious Treasure. Be ready to power up a Mewtwo Reunion. That is kind of insane. And we're doing more loads of, so we're doing like, are we OHKOing this Serena EX? That's kind of insane if we are, because that's just crazy, because we can just retreat for free into a different Shadow Rider and take the OHKO on the Serena. It's kind of insane. Don't know how many times I've said insane in this video. Should probably put an insane counter up in this video or something. That'd be kind of funny. Anyway, we do get a couple more energy off that Underworld Door for next turn, and we can just retreat for free and just do like what, 250 damage. Sorry, we're not quite OHKOing it yet, but next turn we will definitely have enough energy in play to do so. I'm just checking the Mewtwo Reunion. We can potentially put 16 damage counters on their side of the board as well. To, you know, does the Panic Mask counteract, or does it counter the damage counters being placed, or is it just like damage, not damage counters? I'm gonna have to check that. Anyway, they lost Vacuum. I wouldn't be surprised if they got rid of my Stadium again, but yet again we still do have our last Ultra of the Moon in the hand right now, so this doesn't really matter much. And I wouldn't be surprised if they just Icicle Soul again and just do like 290 damage and think that they're fine. But let's be real, we're just like OHKOing pretty much anything next turn after we retreat. So as soon as we take this knockout, or actually, having said that, they do have another Serena EX on board now, which, you know, could potentially be worrying, but we have so many attackers pretty much just ready to go. We're about to power up a third Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX, or, you know, or the Mewtwo Reunion as well, which is kind of insane. I just think we just have too much of a good board state for our opponent to, you know, do anything, unless they come down with the Hisuian Braviary and just like take 9 prizes or something, or 6 prizes in a single turn, which would be kind of insane. Anyway, we can just you know, Underworld Door a couple times. I'm checking the Mewtwo Reunion card, checking what it does, but yeah, happy to do 16 damage counters on our Pokemon, on our opponent's Pokemon in any way we like. We can just retreat as well, and you know, do a bunch of damage that way. We have just powered up pretty much all of our Pokemon we can attach for turn as well. It's kind of broken. Yes, we can retreat here. How much damage are we doing now? It must be like over 300 damage or something. I can check with this Shadow Rider Calyrex. Anyway, I could Mallow actually. Mallow could be a play because we can get 2 cards on top of our deck that we need for next turn. We have loaded damaged Pokemon. So I'm thinking the Acerola and maybe the Forest Seal Stone. Acerola goes on top of the deck, which is insane, and we can put the what's it called, the Forest Seal Stone behind it as well, which is insane, and we can just max guys for 370 damage. That's crazy deck. 2 prizes, and we're, you know, getting closer to winning. We get a Gladion and a Guzma. That could help actually. I guess the question is, do they have another panic mask to, you know, counteract the fact that, or counter any damage that our Shadow Rider Calyrex can do? But I'm gonna be real, they have a 3-card hand and they're 3 prizes behind us, and you know, the second attack on Serena EX isn't too great, so I wouldn't advise using that in this deck. I haven't seen any sign of Hisuian Braviary to, you know, potentially win the game for them, so it is really tough. Having said that, they're just Industrious Incisors till they had 5 cards in their hand, so perhaps they get something better off that. But yeah, we just have so many outs right now. It's kind of crazy. They attach a Legacy Energy. No way they're going to use the second attack on the Serena EX. Anyway, the Legacy Energy means that when we take the knockout on this Serena EX, we take 1 less prize. They are just going to Icicle Soul again on the Shadow Rider Calyrex in the active, and of course now I've mallowed, we get the Acerola off the top guaranteed, which is kind of insane, and we can just Acerola. What's the best play here, I wonder? Just thinking, what one should I pick up? We're doing 370 damage. If I pick one up, if I scoop a Calyrex up, am I still doing enough damage to KO or to OHKO the Serena EX? I think I am, I think the mass is just right, especially if I attach from hand after I scoop up, and I'll place the Shadow Rider back down so I can evolve next turn, and yeah, it would just make sense to attach, wouldn't it? So yeah, we are doing just enough. 310, exact math, big brain moves. Anyway, we do 310 and we go down to one prize? No, God, I forgot about the Legacy Energy. We take 1 prize for the Serena EX, which is not too bad. I mean, they don't have much of a board state, they don't have another Bound Suite down or anything like that to get another Serena in play. They don't have a what's the Brufflet down to evolve into Braviary, which is completely fine. So I think we can pretty much wrap the game up, as long as they don't get anything down. They bench another Bidoof, that's fine. As long as they don't get anything else down this turn, I think it's, you know, pretty much lights out for our opponent. They attach an Ancient Booster Energy Capsule to the active Hisuian's Radiant Hisuian Seasler. That's a mouthful to say in the active. That's crazy. They only have 2 cards in hand. They Industrious Incisors for 3 more. But you know, this is such an insane board state. Who is touching this board state? They Peonia. Okay, that's fine. They burnt their supporter on a useless supporter. They get 3 cards from their prizes, but again, that's randomly, and they have to put 3 back from their hand that they don't need, so it's just completely fine. Yeah, this is just such an insane board state, and you know, getting 2 VMAX Pokemon down turn 1 with Radiant Eternatus is just insane. It's genuine cheating. It honestly is genuine cheating. Why did the Pokemon company decide to print Radiant Eternatus? It is so broken. But yeah, what are they gonna do? Like, if they a Monkey Dory, okay, that's completely fine. If they bench another like a 50 HP Pokemon, oh, they don't. But I could have just, you know, Cyplosion for 2 prizes in 1 game. But you know, even then I can just evolve into another Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX, and you know, I'm not gonna use the Underworld Door ability anymore because I've only got 3 cards left in deck, but I'm doing 340 damage. That OHKOs anything in the game. No one's talking about this deck, it's just insane. Max Geist for 340 damage. I know it's only a 1 prize Pokemon, it only has 130 HP, but 340 damage pretty much knocks out anything in the game right now. So yeah, it's just insane. And we take a prize, and what, they just concede? Yeah, it's just an insane deck. Why is no one talking about this? GG. Once Shadow Rider gets going, it almost feels unstoppable, being able to easily hit OHKO numbers and easily having a multitude of attackers to power up as well for any situation, which is really handy. I wonder if this is one of the best expanded beta decks I've ever played so far, but you've got to let me know in the comments. And would you you know, make any changes to the deck? Also let me know in the comments about that as well. Anyway, I think it's a super deck and I really recommend playing it. Let's go. Shadow Rider Calyrex is one of the best decks in the full expanded mode, so hopefully one day I'll be able to play it with you guys. If you enjoy this type of content though, make sure to like and subscribe so the algorithm recommends more of me to you by clicking on my channel avatar. But until next time, stay strategic everyone. See ya.